Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga has suffered yet another major political blow. Kanini Kega is now drifting towards Rigathi Gachagua and Kenya Kwanza. For those who follow the politics of this country very closely, two members of parliament from the larger Mount Kenya region stuck their necks out for Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta during the campaign period. The two were actually Kanini Kega and Sabina Chege. Kanini Kega was on Inoro TV today, and he made certain statements which are pointing to a man who is preparing to join Kenya Kwanza. Now, this is what I'm gathering, that Kanini Kega actually indicated, this is what is being quoted, that Rigathi did well in uniting us. This is the only senior leader we have in Mount Kenya. We need to rally behind him as a region. Now, that's Kanini Kega of all the people. In this video, I want to try and explain to you guys why Kanini Kega is dumping Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Because that's what he's doing. Before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get back into the main issue and dive in directly. And by the way, I want to make a request to you for this particular video. Please give it thumbs up. Just press that like button. That's the best way you can support this channel. Now, for those who followed the last election, Kanini Kega played a key role for Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Huyo anajulikana kama super striker. Oh yes. Azimio la umoja. One shot, one goal. One shot, one goal. One shot, one goal. One shot. Na sasa tumeenda Kanini Kega season. Season. Hebu weka hivi kofia ya Kanini Kega.
And it even reached a point where Kanini Kega used to actually represent President Uhuru Kenyatta in some events in the larger Mount Kenya region. I remember there was this particular event where I think it was a funeral where the deputy president was, and Kanini Kega was sent by the president to deliver some donation, because the president was in Mombasa. He had invited Kanini Kega to Mombasa, and the deputy president had to invite Kanini Kega to read the president's speech and deliver the cash. Watch that incident very briefly in case you missed out, because Kanini Kega actually played a major role in the last election.
Labda wengine hawakumbuki. Jana mimi nikatumwa na mheshimiwa rais, kwa kifupi sana, kwa bishop, kwa kifupi sana. Jana nikatumwa na rais na mchango wake wa 1500. Nikaambiwa, Kanini, hujafikisha kiwango ya kutumwa na rais. Nikasema ni sawa tu, lakini nilikuwa nimetumwa. Mimi ni Mkristo. Hapa leo kwa magazeti wameandika kwamba Kanini alidanganyana, ametumwa na rais. Mimi ni Mkristo, nimezaliwa katika kanisa ya PCA na siogeagi uongo. That is the truth. Na leo mimi nauliza, ile nimetumwa nayo hapa na rais, nitoe ama nirudi nayo? Bas, leta. Niliongea on Friday last week. Nilikuwa Mombasa. Mimi nikaongea na rais, nikaenda mpaka kwake State House Mombasa. Nikamwambia rafiki yake Maivo ameaga. Akaniambia what? Because wote ukiangalia kwa hii wewe utaona wewe wakiwa na picha na nani? Na rais. Nikamwambia rafiki yako ameenda. Akaniambia sana angetaka kuja mazishi, lakini kukakuwa na kazi mingi. Akarudi kwa mfuko yake, akaniambia mama, kwa sababu kuko na changamoto hapa na pale, akaniambia Kanini, kwa sababu tunajua unafikisha ukitumwa, akanipatia 500,000. Akaniambia niletee mama. Na hii pesa natoa na nipelekee mama. Lakini ya muhimu.
Now, before we get into the main reasons why Kanini Kega is now drifting towards Kenya Kwanza, the nomination to the East African Legislative Assembly opened the eyes of the mountain because they were betrayed by Rift Valley. Kanini Kega is now suggesting that he was also betrayed by Azimio. And the truth of the matter is that without the support of the mountain, I doubt if Kanini Kega would have managed to win the seat. Probably Fatuma Gedi would have managed because, you know, warriors managed to raise a lot of money and they were really pushing for some of them to get through. So Kanini Kega feels very strongly that he was shortchanged, just like Rigathi Gachagua and Mount Kenya felt that their counterparts from the Rift Valley shortchanged them. And as was expected, that East African Legislative Assembly nomination was going to shape the politics of this country. I want you to listen to Rigathi Gachagua briefly, then we dive into the reasons directly.
Hii viongozi ya Mlima nimemwambia huyu Kanini Kega alikuwa anatukana mimi na William Ruto wampigie kura. Sio wamempigia? Hiyo ndio Kenya mpya tuko naye. Sisi mambo iliyopita hatutaki kufuata. Na hasa hii Mlima yetu unataka tuunganishe tusiunganishe? Tuunganishe Mlima, si ndio? Tuongee lugha moja. Na mimi nimwambie nyinyi watu ya Mlima, you don't know, you have no idea. Ile heshima mumetafutia jamii yetu, mumepatia jamii yetu na watoto wetu heshima, miaka 200 inakuja. Kwa sababu hapo mbeleni tulikuwa tumewekelewa fitina. Ati sisi hatuwezi unga huyu mkono, sisi ni watu ya kujipenda, sisi ni watu ya kutumia watu vibaya. Sisi tumeonesha ya kwamba tukipenda wewe, tumekupenda, hatutaki kujua umetoka wapi, bora wewe ni mtu ya kazi. Na mimi kwa niaba ya William Ruto, ile kura mlipeana hapa Mlima kwa William Ruto, mumetafutia jamii yetu heshima ya kwamba sisi ni wangwana, na sisi ni watu ya ukweli, na sisi ni Wakristo, na sisi sio watu ya kurudi nyuma. Tukiambiana na wewe tuko pamoja, tuko pamoja. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kusema asante. Na nyinyi watu ya Tharaka Nithi, mimi nitatafuta urafiki na nyinyi. Nitakaa karibu. Nikaenda narudi, si ndio? Si nifanye namna hiyo? Wacha nikae na nyinyi kwa sababu nyinyi ni wangwana. Moderator wetu wa PCA, hii ni kanisa yetu. Na hii kanisa ya PCA tunaipenda. Hawa mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wa, we are Presbyterians. Na hii kanisa William Ruto amejenga hii kanisa. Mimi nimejenga, tumejenga.
Now, from that alone, you can tell that a lot of things was going to. From that alone, you can clearly tell that the politics of this country was going to be shaped by that particular incident. Today alone, I've seen Musalia Mudavadi holding a meeting with the Lawyers members of parliament. Why do you think Mudavadi is trying to consolidate Western and Rigathi Gachagua is consolidating Central Kenya? I'm coming with that analysis tomorrow. But for now, let us look at the reasons why Kanini Kega is now drifting towards Kenya Kwanza. Number one, the future of Jubilee in Mount Kenya. If you look at Jubilee as a political party and its future in the larger Mount Kenya region, I doubt if Jubilee as a political party has a future in the mountain. And because politics is local, and because politics is about interest, Kanini Kega is looking into the future. And Kanini Kega is looking into his own political interest. The truth of the matter is that if Kanini Kega had remained in Kenya Kwanza, probably today he would be a cabinet secretary, or probably today Kanini Kega would be a member of parliament, because he had already made a name for himself. So the fact that Jubilee might not have a future in Mount Kenya politics in 2027, Kanini Kega is basically using this golden opportunity, which has been granted to him or by him, or which has been granted to him by the Yela nominations. Rigathi Gachagua is actually begging Rigathi Gachagua is actually begging Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega to join him because he has a bigger battle ahead. So the truth is, one of the main reasons why Kanini Kega is now drifting towards Kenya Kwanza is because of the future of Jubilee Party. That's number one. Number two, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta has also failed to provide leadership to his people and his troops. Personally, I've been thinking, if Uhuru Kenyatta is the leader of Jubilee and is not taking charge, he's not leading them, I mean, basically he's now busy doing other things, what would you do as Kanini Kega? I just want to give you an example so that you can understand why I strongly believe that there's no leadership in Jubilee. When they were nominating people to the East African Legislative Assembly, the 3 people, there was confusion. And even when they wanted to nominate someone to serve in the Parliamentary Service Commission, they submitted 2 names. And Sabina Chege was very categorical that Jubilee as a political party needed to fix its house. If Uhuru Kenyatta took charge of Jubilee and Uhuru Kenyatta took charge of Kenya Kwanza, I can assure you there's no way Kanini Kega would have left at this particular point in time, because he had already secured his nomination to the East African Assembly. Time would still be there for him to play around and monitor how things were going to happen. So for me, Uhuru Kenyatta has failed to provide leadership. Number 3, I also tend to think that Rigathi Gachagua is actually trying to stamp his authority as the next Mount Kenya kingpin. And therefore, he has embarked on a charm offensive mission. And the fruits we can see. The fact that someone like Kanini Kega can now talk of joining Rigathi Gachagua and talking of Rigathi Gachagua as the kingpin of Mount Kenya tells you that indeed things have changed. So for me, I tend to think that the direction Rigathi Gachagua is taking is the best for him. Charm offensive, win hearts, have them on your side. It would have been impossible for Rigathi Gachagua to stamp his authority if there was serious opposition back there. So he has sorted out that. Number 4, I also tend to think that politics being of interest, politics being a... Number 4, I also tend to think that because politics is all about interest, Kanini Kega is figuring out the best way he can make a comeback. The only way to make a comeback for Kanini Kega is to join Kenya Kwanza, associate with them. Let's face it, 2027 is going to come. Not long time ago. I mean, it won't take long. Actually, it won't take long. It's going to come. Kanini Kega would want to make it back to Parliament, or to Senate, or to Governor. That will only be possible, in my view, if he joined Kenya Kwanza, because that's the party of the moment in the mountain. And because politics is local, that would serve his interest. The 5th reason why Kanini Kega is joining Kenya Kwanza, for me, is about what is feeling as if it is betrayal from Azimio. The truth of the matter is that Kanini Kega enjoyed support of Azimio supporters. But if you look at the way they voted, members of parliament voted, you can even question whether there was someone who was in charge or not. Of course, you can argue that money exchanged hands, because someone was telling me that there was a lot of money which was exchanging hands. In fact, Oparanya himself stated earlier today that he's leaving ODM party and Raila Odinga, because when he was campaigning for Justice Kizito to be nominated to the East African Legislative Assembly, some members of parliament told him that Kizito didn't have money and he was wondering. So for me, that's the point. And lastly, I think he feels that he was betrayed by Azimio. And lastly, Mount Kenya 2027. Mount Kenya is trying to rally around a leader. Rigathi Gachagua, by virtue of being the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, by coming from Nyeri, definitely means that Kanini Kega had no option but to support one of their own. So it's all about 2027 and beyond. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Bye-bye.